What's up, everyone? It's Doug, the Retro Gamer here, and yeah, I just wanted to take a real quick minute to do a YouTube narration again. Nintendo recently snuck in an announcement about a Wii U adapter that allows for GameCube controllers to be played on the Wii U, and this is more in line with Smash Brothers at the moment. But I do have a feeling that maybe perhaps they're going to use this for GameCube Virtual Console content later on down the road. While I can understand why they would do that, because you had to have the GameCube controller to operate GameCube games on the Wii, there was no way that they could just have patched it to work with the Classic Controller or the Classic Controller Pro of the Wii, even though that's something that I personally wanted. I mean, I have a Classic Controller Pro on my Wii. I can just plug it in and play it, rather than, oh, I gotta go get my GameCube controller out from storage, I gotta unwrap it, I gotta plug it in, now I gotta go all the way into Wii mode. I mean, I got it, because again, it was two different technologies. But here's my, I guess, my concern or my challenge with this. Why was this done? I mean, in a sense, like I said, I get it. I'm trying to be fairly neutral about this, as neutral as I can, without going off the deep end, because my personal opinion is that it's a waste of plastic. Nintendo could do better things with their time. You know, they could have came out with a 3DS adapter that allowed you to play 3DS games using the, using the Wii U controller. That would have been great. They could have had some kind of a patch update that could have easily have allowed the 3DS and the Wii U to sync, since they share the same eShop, and somehow maybe have the 3DS be off TV play for certain games, or even for the Wii U itself, which is something that I've mentioned in earlier videos, and something that Sony technically does with its whole Vita and PS4. So, again, try to stay neutral about it, because I do see the good points of it, even though to me it's kind of a waste. I do see the good points to it, though. I mean, it could potentially lead into a virtual console for GameCube games. And then, and then there's a lot of people, me included, that believe that the GameCube controller is probably the best controller in the world. I mean, it's designed for comfort. The L and the R buttons, they just, when you squeeze them, it just feels so natural. The A button, of course, being in the center and the primary thing. I mean, the placement of the buttons themselves, A and B, are just right there and natural. I mean, I get it, and I get why a lot of pro players, when it comes to Smash Brothers, why they prefer it. So I'm not at all dissing the adapter itself, especially for the people who probably prefer GameCube controllers. But what my challenge, I guess, has come down to is that, and I'll see if I can find a picture of it and put it up in this narration for all of you to see. But Amazon has already had this. For like 15 bucks, you could buy an adapter that allowed a USB end to go to the GameCube, and you could just pop it into the Wii U and have done it that way. There was no need for another contraption. And yes, I guess the difference being, you're talking about one controller versus 4. You're talking about an adapter that can hold 4 GameCube controllers. But that's kind of insane, if you ask me. I mean, you have to literally have 3 professional friends who prefer the GameCube controller and have 4 GameCube controllers to even need that, because me personally, I'm probably just going to play with this weird contraption that Nintendo came out with called a Pro Controller. I mean, I look at it and I think, gee, if I wanted to use analog, L and R, A, B, X, and Y, and a C stick, I would just use the Pro Controller, because the C stick is the right thumbstick. Okay? And there's already ZL and ZO, which is way more comfortable to me a lot of times than the GameCube controller. It automatically syncs wirelessly to my Wii, so I don't have to worry about a cord getting in the way, so I could sit all the way at the other end of my living room if I wanted to. Then it has ABXY, and it has all the, it has the exact same stuff as a GameCube controller. So maybe I just don't get it. wouldn't it just be easier just to go off and buy 3 Pro controllers and play with those wirelessly and sit wherever you want? I mean, I guess it just comes down to comfort because the GameCube controller is comfortable, so I get it. But just to me, I kind of don't. That's just like saying, man, I really have to play with the Wii U in the upcoming Mario Kart 8, which I'm going to go pick up today. But I just don't get it. I don't. Okay, the Wii U was Mario Kart Wii's thing, and it was kind of good for like 5 minutes. And then I plugged in a nunchuck controller, and I never looked back. That's how I played Mario Kart Wii. And great, Mario Kart 8 supports it through a Wii wheel. Great. And I guess if you're the kind of person that you were great with the Wii wheel, that's good news for you. But I never was good with the Wii wheel. I would rather play with the Pro Controller or with the gyroscopes of the Wii U gamepad, or just play with the gamepad itself. You know? I mean, that's like going off and buying the little Wii wheel that the 3DS had for Mario Kart 7. That's a little excessive when you can just automatically hold the 3DS and just rotate it with its gyroscopes, you know? I mean, it's useless to me. I get why it's there, because that's something I've always praised Nintendo for, is giving them more control options. But that would, I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of a good thing because maybe they'll use it for Gamecube, Virtual Console. But I don't know. I just always looked at it as like you have a controller that's designed to be more like a GameCube controller with the Wii U gamepad and with the Pro controller, and you're not using them. You mean to tell me that this thing can be used to emulate GameCube games and you're not using it? You'd rather come out with an adapter that uses the actual GameCube controller. I mean, in a way I get it, but in a way I don't. Because even with... I'll just give you an example of what I'm talking about. Even when I went off and I got the Game Boy player for my GameCube, I also went off and I got the GameCube to Game Boy, the GameCube to Game Boy adapter, so I could play it with my Game Boy Advance. Because the whole point and the reason why I like Game Boy Advance games is because I like the way the Game Boy Advance feels in my hands. The only reason why I play it on the big screen is because my Game Boy Advance isn't backlit, and sometimes I like to have that bigger colored experience that I get by playing it on a bigger TV than I would on that small non-backlit screen. You know? So, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to play Game Boy Advance. I mean, if I wanted to just play Game Boy Advance games with a GameCube controller, I would go off and I'd buy an adapter that allows me to hook it up to the computer, and I'd emulate it on my PC. I want to have the natural experience that the game is designed to give me. So that's just me, of course. Make sure that you sound off with how you feel. I understand where people are coming from. I guess the Pro Controller, considering the fact that Smash Bros. Melee was considered to be the version of Smash Bros., like the best one, and that people have always praised the GameCube controller, me included, not dissing it in any way. People have praised the GameCube controller for being one of the most, if not the absolute most, comfortable and well-designed controllers of all time. So I get why Nintendo would want to keep adapting it, but like I talked about in an earlier video, at some point they're going to have to drop support for it. That's just my 2 cents though. Make sure that you share your opinions. Is this something that you guys are going to get? Because more likely I will. I'm an accessory kind of guy. I like to have accessories, and it might be something that I might go off and buy just to test out and see how it, especially if they're going to use it for GameCube Virtual Console. I might go off and buy it, see how it works, if they continue to support it with future games outside of Smash Brothers, how this is going to work out. Will they use this for Mario Kart 8? Will they patch that to where it works for Mario Kart 8? Or, are we going to see more games that use GameCube support? Because this was something Nintendo said about the classic, not the classic controller, the Circle Pad Pro for the 3DS. They said, yeah, we're going to support it. And they came out with like 5 games, and then they never supported it. That's another conversation altogether about how the Circle Pad Pro was kind of a failure. In a way, it was a success, but in another way, it was a huge failure. That's another discussion for another time. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm sorry for my long rant and going around in circles. I'm just kind of just going off the cuff here. I don't really have a script like most of my narrations do, so I appreciate you listening. Like this video, of course, if it's something that you want me to continue to talk about in the future, or if you have something you want me to talk about, make sure that you send me a message requesting it. Subscribe if you really like this video and you like all my other videos, because I typically try to do at least a video or narration once a week, if not more, depending upon what I have to say. And yeah, thanks for listening. And you know, I know I said it before, but don't hesitate sharing your opinion, because having a good civil discussion / debate, nothing wrong with it as long as it stays healthy and professional and doesn't get out of control. But I'm the retro gamer, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.